action film Autopsy.
Yeah, man, I love that opening. I just love that
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
I was shouting out the names of the titles as they popped up.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. All right. Welcome to
What
January.
is
Well,
going
welcome
on? What is happening?
to You're popping in and out. Yeah, we were
I
talking
know.
before
I know.
popped in that Phat is having some computer issues. So he's kind of going to
Yes,
be a
yay.
Tron for this episode. In and out,
Yeah.
back and forth.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. What is going on, Rick? How you doing, brother? Welcome back.
I am surprisingly happy with the January stuff. I mean, we're in the last day of January, about to hit the Valentine's month, and I thought in the past this is where action films went to die. Not this show, but January. There was a period of time when all the lost
Right.
leaders of every single studio were stuck into January because they figured nobody was going to the movie theaters. So, I'm an old guy. Look
Yeah.
how long my beard is. Look how white my beard is getting. So I figured, okay, this is gonna be a pretty dull, uninteresting episode. But then all these titles, I was pleasantly surprised. Maybe my expectations were lowered, but even so, I was
Yeah.
pretty impressed with what I saw this month.
Wow. Well, you actually are correct about that, Rick, because there's a whole saying they say they call it "fuck you, it's January" month, basically, where all the studios are just like "fuck you, we're just releasing it there." Yeah, we don't give a shit. But interesting that Rick was pleasantly surprised. All right.
There's most of these things though are streaming. I'm trying to think. Maybe there's one or two movies here that actually went into the theaters. The rest of them are on streaming. So,
Right.
I mean, probably at midnight tonight or 2 o'clock tomorrow morning, it's going to be Black Panther 2. Wakanda Forever is going to be on Disney Plus. And so, yeah, everything's streaming. And a lot of the stuff we'll be talking about will be television. Well, things that originate on streaming services.
Right. Copy that. Well, we got everybody. The Movie Dojo Army's in the house watching right now. What's going on, everybody? That's right. Welcome. That's right. 10th episode on this channel of the action film Autopsy. So that's right.
Wise.
That's
Wow.
right. That's right. And the first episode of the year, we're kicking it off. That's right, with the legend himself. So what's going on, Lady Danish, Jake Hall, Brian Sanchez, Tyler Severio, Michael Gonzalez, Caitlin, Chris Angel, Severio. All the badasses are watching right now. Thanks again for hanging out with us tonight. Yes. And I gotta show I thought I had it in here.
What's that?
I'll have to show it next time. But I had an awesome picture of Rick. I thought I had it in here. I'll have to show it next time. next time, Rick.
Yeah.
Next month.
Phat was tickled by an image of me from one of the January martial art events in Atlanta.
It was amazing.
And at this point, I have so many awards and trophies, I don't accept a new one unless I can balance it on my head. And so he saw a picture of me balancing one of these trophies on my head. And I look crucified at the altar of Kung Fu or martial arts, actually.
Hey, that looked like it took some skill, Rick.
Hey, remember, Tai Chi means balance. The word means balance.
That's right.
But
well,
yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
They had that event this year when I wasn't able to attend this year because I was busy with my other stuff.
Right.
But I saw all these pictures from my friends who did go, and every single picture, they're all lined up, all my martial art friends, and they all, instead of doing this like the Japanese do it, they're all doing this. They're all, they're going, badass, badass. And I'm glad I didn't go, because I know I would just be going, all these fists, all these stupid fists. Because all my were always.
You would have just represented, Rick. You would have been the only one in the the photo representing. Yeah, that's right. Kung Fu, baby. That's all right. Are you ready to kick it off? Let's see.
I've been ready for the last 6 minutes.
All right. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. Poker Face.
Yep, I had to. I watched that. I watched the available episodes for that this week, and I had to include it because it's again just what I was saying before. It's not fists; it's open hands. So basically, this is kung fu more than martial arts. This action is action of what do I like? Not badass. I like smart ass. And what's great about her, she's both. This character that Natasha Lyonne is playing is incredibly smart, but also in both definitions of the word smartass. She's very intelligent, but she's also very smartass. And of course, the show she's one of the producers, but the creator of the show, the writer of some of the episodes, the director of the majority of the episodes is Rian Johnson, who's, of course, Last Jedi, but I know him as an encyclopedic scholar on the art of the television detective. I mean, both his Knives Out movies are all about showing off how much he knows about detective shows and movies. And so this is his TV show, and I was enjoying it. This is a picture from the first episode. They have incredible guest stars, but in this first episode, which sort of establishes her character and establishes the theme of the show, I was enjoying it immensely. But there's one moment in the episode when she actively decides to be a detective. Up until then, she was just somebody who's trying to survive. Somebody has this ability to tell when people are lying, which, by the way, is not an original idea. I mean, there was a Tim Roth television series about a guy who could tell when people were lying, but he wasn't as certain as she was. And that show was dark and kind of stolid, and it had a bunch of writers who really didn't know what to do with the idea. Rian Johnson and these guys know exactly what to do with the idea. It's all about the malleable nature of truth and the people who try to use it. And also, she does this wonderful little speech in the first episode about everybody lies all the time. So it's just a matter of why they're doing it. But what I was going to say is the moment in the movie, not the movie, in the episode, where she decides to be a detective, she's in a casino bar, and suddenly see if you recognize the music that's playing. And I'm going, that's a weird sounding music. And then I realized what it was. It was this old man, he played one. He played knick-knack on his thumb with a knick-knack, paddywhack, broke a bone. This old man goes rolling home. Do you know what that was the unofficial theme of?
What?
Columbo.
What?
That's the unofficial theme of Columbo. You hear that theme played. There's one moment in the Columbo series where the character starts humming that. And ever since that episode, they keep reusing it. They don't make a big deal out of it, but they keep reusing it. And of course, I'm the author of the TV Detectives book and the Murder on the Air book, both of one won a special award from the Mystery Writers, one got nominated for the Edgar Award from the Mystery Writers. And so I love television detectives, and I love Rian Johnson because I see his Knives Out and I saw his Glass Onion, and I said, all right, who's he borrowing from this time? This show is his new version of Columbo, without question. I even got a hint at that because Columbo was not really a whodunit. Columbo was a how to prove whodunit. Because you see who the murderer is at the beginning of the episode, except for one episode of Columbo. I'm also very proud of Columbo because me and Chris Brown, who does Hager the Horrible, we contributed to Columbo. We were giving Bill Link, who was a friend of mine, he was the co-creator of Columbo, all these ideas for gotchas, because he said that was his biggest problem, figuring out the gotchas. How does Columbo know the guy did it? And you see later in Columbo, they were doing things like Columbo's found the guy's tooth mark on a piece of cheese. And by then they were already kind of reaching. So we gave him one for an episode called Columbo Cries Wolf, which Bill Link, we were very grateful that Bill Link called it the third best gotcha in Columbo history. And I was like going, that's awesome. So Poker Face incredibly smart show, incredibly well done. Very, I mean, it's
Nice.
all a puzzle. It's all a puzzle book of a show. It's he just like in Knives Out and Glass Onion, he jumps
Yeah.
around in time. It's
Okay.
in action from a mental action. It's the best thing going. I'm really looking forward to all 10 episodes.
Nice. I'm gonna have to check it out because me and Lady Phat, we're actually fans of that actress. So definitely gonna have to check out.
The show is just amazing. It's so well done. And we can get on to other shows that are very well done and other shows that are not that well. What do you have up? What do you have up next?
Willow.
Oh yeah, that's the one. Okay, so we have a beautiful tasting hors d'oeuvre, and now we have a very bland kind of buffet. Willow
Gotcha.
is beautifully filmed, beautifully cast. That's the thing that kept me going. Every single one of these characters is extremely well done. The only thing but what you're seeing here is the problem with the show. You have this wonderful cast, this wonderful photography, these wonderful locations, this wonderful costuming, and all they do is stand around. They stand around. I mean, I don't like. I've seen a lot of movies like that. There was that wonderful animated movie that used block animation, and it was a great idea. It had a moon child who had these amazing weapons, who was fighting his heavenly family, and all they did was wander around. All they did was walk around, literally walk around. And that's what Willow was like. Willow was way too long. I mean, it should have been.
Oh, really?
It should have had half the number of episodes. Every episode, I think, was about 50 minutes or more. And, like 15 minutes of action, and not literal action, actual plot happens in each episode. And it's like, guys, it's pretty. I appreciate it's pretty, but I wish it was more imaginative. I wish you guys would challenge yourselves, because I was disappointed in the original movie too.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was okay. It just wasn't great. And I thought this show would pay it off, and it would be full of plot and full of fantasy and full of adventure and full of action. No, it was just kind of, I watched it and I was going, pretty. All right. Yeah, that's pretty. Oh, that character is great. I wish she would say something interesting. I wish they would talk to each other in a way that I would be fascinated. But
yeah.
So it wandered around. Let's go on to the next one, which is not a bad one.
Okay, copy that. Because I remember when we first talked about Willow, you were very positive for like the first two episodes.
That was only the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And then they started walking.
And not doing anything, apparently.
I mean, they tried to be clever with it in that there was one scene where the heroes are back to back, and they're back to back because one is facing a villain in front of her and one is facing a villain behind her.
Yeah.
And so I'm going, okay, it's going to explode into an action scene where they're going to have to spin. They're going to have to do what Jackie Chan did in Armor of God, constantly spin so they know where their enemy is. All they did was turn and talk, turn and talk, turn and talk.
Oh boy.
And the villains did nothing. The villains just sat there and went, didn't do anything. They're like the background actors in a Shaw Brothers movie. When you have the main fighters in the Shaw movie fighting each other, everybody they're pretending like they're going to get involved any second. Never do.
Right.
The whole show was like that. Even the finale was like, and then the finale, of course, is just a teaser for the next season.
Oh, great.
It's like, oh, I hope you do something in the next season.
Yeah. Copy that.
Yeah, it was
wasted potential. Willow is.
Oh yeah, beautiful to look at.
Yeah.
Again, eye candy, very little mind candy.
Gotcha. All right.
And I love fantasy. I've written a series of fantasy novels. I've written some. I wrote the fantasy mystery,
Right.
Merchant Harua, which I wish somebody would adapt.
Right.
It's a great mystery and a great fantasy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Copy that. Which Willow was not, unfortunately.
Willow was beautiful. Pretty.
Right. Right. Next up,
Empty-headed.
we have
Now,
everyone's talking about this.
not
Rick,
everyone,
thoughts?
a noticeable amount of people.
Okay.
Even I'm talking about this. This
Okay.
is beautifully done.
Oh, okay.
I'm not happy with the subject matter. I know the video game.
Okay.
I know how it turns out. I was not looking forward to this because I again, just like Hitman and zombies. The world is either full of zombies or the world is full of hitmen. And I've grown tired of them.
Right.
I figured, since I knew how this played out in the game, that I'll check it out, but then I'll stop watching it. Well, I didn't think I'd make it to the third episode, which was the one that just aired. The third episode was one of the best hours of television ever.
Wow.
It's just,
wow.
Gex, the game it's very true. The game is gorgeous. I think the show is even better than the game so far. So I'm going to keep watching it because I want to see if they correct my problems that I had with the ending of the games.
Gotcha.
I mean, if this doesn't end on a note of hope, but even if it doesn't, they're doing the drama so well. There's such artistry involved in this show that, I mean, I bow down to it. I mean, I'm willing to suffer, more zombies and, more threats to my life, another way we can all die, right? But done absolutely beautifully. Just excellent. And again, that's the thing about the action is that I'm not looking for superlative action here. I'm looking for action in character. And that's what I'm getting.
Right.
Everybody behaves
All right.
in character. Just a great show.
Nice. All right. There you go. It has Rick's approval. All right. Now, speaking of the next video game adaptation, there you go. Halo. Rick, thoughts on Halo?
This is awesome to compare. If you want to know why most video game movies don't and television shows don't do well, and Last of Us is just compare these two, especially I know, Phat, that you have a lot of filmmakers in your audience. So filmmakers compare Halo with Last of Us, or even Willow, although that's not a video game. But yeah, compare the video games.
Right.
The difference is that the person largely responsible for Last of Us is the creator of the game. He's the guy who, what was he called? I loved his term. He was the head of narrative development. Head of narrative development. So when you got a guy who's the head of narrative development working on the show, his narrative is awesome. You do not have that with Halo. You have another bunch of people who don't really respect or understand video games, who say to themselves, all right, what are we going to do? We're going to do Game of Thrones. We're going to do Game of Thrones because that was successful. So we'll do the Game of Thrones technique. So Halo is not terrible, but it's not good. Because again, this always drives me crazy. People who are making a branded product for people other than the fans of the branded product. We have to make, the producers say, we have to make this for everybody. And I said, no, you don't. What you have to do is make it for the people who love the brand first, because they're the ones who are going to come to it first and pass judgment. And their judgment is now, of course, going to go on to social media, or SoMe as I call it, and everyone will know it. So if you don't make it for them and they are disappointed, you've just basically, stabbed yourself. You committed seppuku. And while Halo isn't dreadful, it's watchable. Ask anybody who's seen the game,
Right.
who's played the game. Is it the game? Nope. And the changes they make
Yeah.
are transparent. They're making these changes for Game of Thrones reasons. They're making it, I don't like video games, so how am I going to take a video game and make it palatable not to its audience, but to me, the producer, or to the studio? That's what they do. First thing they do is they take, the last thing they did in Mandalorian was take off his helmet. First thing they do in Halo is take off Master Chief's helmet. And it's like, all right, so basically you're just slapping the fans in the face.
Preach it, Rick.
Yeah, it's just it's a shame, but it's it's terrifically educational. Again, watch Last of Us, watch Halo. Halo did.
Right. Gotcha. Yeah, I knew Halo before it even came out was going to be in trouble when I heard the people that wrote the script didn't even want to bother play the games. They were like, "No, we don't need to play the games or anything." I was like, "Oh no, oh no."
That's right. And also, the
right.
action people, the people who worked on the action, were the ones who also worked on Into the Badlands, which is a perfect example of video games. So it's physiology-free video game fighting. But Into the Badlands was it was all style, no substance.
Mm.
And it's the same kind of thing with Halo. It's just, again, and understandably so.
It's pretty.
Yeah, it's brutality, and it's meaningless brutality. Style, no substance.
Right. Gotcha. All right. Next up is a movie we enjoyed this. I mean, I did. Me and the missus liked it. I'm curious to hear what Rick has to say about it. The Menu.
I can judge this movie on the fact that I watched every second of it.
Oh, okay.
I watched every second. It wasn't 2 hours and 15 minutes long, which was nice. And I watched every minute, but I watched every minute because I wanted to see what happened. I wanted to see where it went.
Yeah.
And the moment, I mean, a great cast too, of course, really wonderful cast. The moment Ralph Fiennes makes excuses for the plot.
Okay.
I said, okay, all right. I know I know I'm in a little trouble here.
Okay.
Okay. Remember the scene I'm talking about?
I'm not sure. Which one was it?
He turns to the audience and he says, I mean, not the audience. He turns to his patrons. He turns to diners.
Right.
Says, why didn't you guys get up and fight us? You've just been sitting there.
Right.
I mean,
he's like, you easily could have taken us out, And you're just sitting there like.
And I was going, thank you, Rick. I was thinking the exact same thing. And by then I was just sort of like doing this, I was just kind of like, what is the point of this? Why is everyone acting the way they're acting? I mean, these guys are pretending they're a death cult, and Ray Fiennes is the head of the death. And, Ray Fiennes is all upset that his artistry with, and there's the wonderful, she's wonderful in the Queen's Gambit. And I was happy at the end. During the rest of the movie, I'm saying, what is she doing in a restaurant? She looks like she hasn't had a grape all day. I mean, what is she doing what's she doing in a restaurant? She looks like if she had anything that was on the plate, she'd explode. But then I saw, when they revealed that she didn't belong there,
right,
the outsider, then I said, all right, that's cute. I enjoyed that. And then, and I like the little interplay, spoiler alert as usual. I like the little, there'll be spoilers. I haven't used
spoiler alert.
And that was a theme song of when I had this as a podcast. There'll be spoilers. Anyway, the ending, the little interplay, because there's a moment in the movie where Ray Fiennes doesn't let the innocent assistant of the asshole movie star go. Doesn't let her go. He basically says, "No, we're going to kill you with everyone else." But he lets the anorexic go. So it's like, so I liked how that played out. I went, okay. But then I said, all right, just like a really good meal, I've eaten this entire meal. Now let me see how I feel after it digests. So I let it in. I thought about it, and I tried to remember it.
You let it marinate.
And then I went, what the fuck was that about? How did that get? To steal another podcast title, how did that get made? Who saw that script and decided it was a great idea and that we should do it? And when a movie has to satirize itself, and we have another movie on this list that also does that, far worse than The Menu did.
Okay.
The Menu is watchable, and I also find it interesting because the people I've talked to has been you and Lady Phat really enjoyed it. One of my mentors really enjoyed it, and I went, it was okay, and I'm glad. I'm not unhappy I saw it, but it's not going to be one of my best of the years. But the fact that so many people have opinions on it make it worth your while. Phat, what did you think it was about? What was that movie about?
Man, well, I mean, the whole he has reached a status of cult leader,
right?
And he was trying to, basically create the menu, but like you said, he is like the ultimate send off. Fuck you, basically, is basically the point of that movie. He was done. The guy who owned the island, the guy who funds him, he had him killed. It was basically a fuck you to everyone. He's done.
Well,
you guys are unworthy. You're not grateful to have my food. But along the way,
but I'm going to kill you rather than poison you. I'm going to just kill you. I'm going to blow you all up.
Right, with style. But along the way, he lost his love.
Well, I all understood, but is there a deeper meaning that? I mean, you're telling me the plot. I know the plot.
Right. Well, you asked me what was about.
Well, no, that's true. But I was talking about the deeper meanings. Why anybody would make a movie of this? Because it's just kind of like, and also I didn't buy any other character. Him, I understood, but the fact that he wanted to take all these people with him, and he wanted to torture them, told me that well, you're not worthy of any respect. I don't need to respect you. You're a total a-hole. You're a pretentious a-hole who's bringing all these people down with you. And unfortunately, my other issue as a writer, because I have to create characters in my own work, is that I didn't buy anyone else. All the other characters, they didn't. I mean, his mother, I understood, but everybody who's following him so slavishly, and it's my idea that we all die. I mean, I was going, okay, that's an interesting line, but you've done nothing in your behavior has revealed any part of your character, and all the people you would think the action star and the bros and all those guys would do stuff, but they all took it and kept taking it, and they could have explained that with character development and character smarts and with dialogue, but they didn't bother. The whole movie was just kind of like, all right, at the end she has a cheeseburger. Great. That's all it was. Very well made. It's worth seeing to see how you all like it. But for me, it was kind of like, it was.
What was the point? I got you.
It was a big fuck you to the. That's my theory. That's why it was made. Because the filmmaker was Ray Fiennes. And he wanted to say fuck you to the audience. You're going to sit there. You, Rick Myers, I'm going to keep sitting there and watching this You're going to watch it all the way through, and at the end, I'm just going to give you a big fat. At least,
There is, we figured it out.
thank you, Phat. Now I figured it out.
Copy that. All right. Next up, we have Megan, which gave me my best trailer reaction video of last year. If you guys have not seen my trailer reaction to Megan, check it out. It's hilarious. Thoughts on Megan?
Oh yeah,
Rick?
we have got. This is the theme. This is the overarching theme of the January releases, which is we're going to be smart. In other words, I am so happy, and I'll give you a hint of what's coming up. I'm so happy with what they did, James Wan and Blumhouse. What's Bloom's name?
But yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Like Jason, I think it's Jason Blum.
yeah,
James
Jason.
Wan.
Right.
They're doing with Blumhouse and with A24, and of course what Jordan Peele is doing. They're reviving and re-energizing the horror genre. Because I got tired of slashers really quick. I mean, especially after seeing Halloween. And again, I've written a bunch of horror novels too to try to rewrite the horror movies I didn't like. And after they screwed up recently, El Rey Network asked what people would remake. What movies would you want to remake? And I just went Halloween 2, Nightmare on Elm Street 2. What's the other one? Friday the 13th 2. I wanted to remake all the sequels because every single one of those slasher movies had great ideas, and then they just squandered it in the second one. They just made it one kill after another. So what's happening now is that these guys who grew up with that and are probably as tired, if not more tired than I am of these kind of movies, are switching them up, making them smarter, making them cleverer, doing twists on them. Killing. I've mentioned other people in previous episodes. So Megan is not really an incredibly new idea. It is a horror movie and a slasher movie,
Killer doll movie. Yeah.
For the TikTok generation.
Right.
As such, extremely. I was just going. I enjoyed it so much that even when they pulled the thing that I dislike most about these movies, which is they don't kill it at the end, they do it so they don't kill the monster at the end. The monster rises up.
Right, for the sequel,
They have a touch of that at the end of this movie, but they do it so well, so smartly, so subtly, and also they set the trap earlier in the movie. There was a moment earlier in the movie where they gave me a hint, because I like solving mysteries, so they gave me a hint. So at the end, when the thing happens, I went smart.
Okay.
Didn't have Megan come leaping out. They did something much smarter, much subtler than that. Meanwhile, Megan is filled with terrific actors and great sequences. And is a satire of modern marketing and has scenes like this in it, where it's kind of like, all right, it's the TikTok generation. So I was very pleased with Megan. I'm going to be very curious about the sequel, because I think the sequel is already okayed.
Yeah, because this did well. So the sequel's greenlit.
And also TikTok generation. And I'm hoping that they don't make the same mistake as Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, Friday the 13th, and that their sequel is as strong. I'm not sure how they can do it. They set it up at the end, but at that point I'm going, now that I'm thinking about it, if Juan and the rest of the guys and the guy who made Megan are involved, hopefully they'll do something very smart. Or at least as smart.
Right. All right.
What's next?
Thumbs up for Megan. Now I have to ask, Rick. I have to ask, because I have not seen it. So you're the expert here. When I saw the trailer for Plane, I was like, that is the dumbest name for an action movie. What are we going to do? Are we going to rename Speed Bus? Like, what are we doing here? Like, this is terrible. The title was terrible. So I didn't bother seeing it. People that I know have seen it, guess what they told me?
It's good.
They told me that it is a 90s action throwback movie. If you like 90s action movies, you will like The Plane. So, Rick, is that true or they're full of shit?
They're not full of shit.
Okay.
That's not the reason why I like it. First of all, when I saw the preview, I had seen that plot before. I know this is a reason, just like the other thing earlier that I said that they were repeating.
Yeah.
This is also a repeat. But, and I love the title. The reason I love the title, as soon as I saw the trailer and I saw the title, I said, they should have called it Plain. Plane.
Okay.
Because that's by calling it plain, they're saying, yeah, the plot is irrelevant.
Yeah.
Because you know who my favorite new B movie actor is of all time? It's not The Rock anymore. After Black Adam, The Rock has screwed the pooch.
Right.
I'm telling the audience, especially for the action film Autopsy, go back and watch every single Gerard Butler movie ever made. You will see that every single one of them has something in common. And that is, it's better than you expect it to be.
Yes.
And as soon as I saw Gerard Butler, and he's a producer on Plane.
Okay.
Always is. And he chooses his directors. The thing about Gerard Butler is that he wants to lower your expectation and then he wants to surpass it. And he does it not because it's a 90s action. I mean, what Greenland, one of his most recent movies, that was his disaster film.
Right.
But the thing about Gerard Butler, every single one of his characters is not stupid. Virtually every B movie action star, Chuck Norris, Jean-Claude Van Damme, it's, amazing actor, Heather, but more than amazing actor, he refuses to let his characters be stupid, to do stupid things. Every time, and even on that poster, put up the poster again. Look at the look on his face. That's part of his acting. I was told many years ago by a great acting teacher, you're watching a good actor when they can see you think. Compare that poster to the poster for the live action Mulan. If you see the live action Mulan, that girl doesn't have a thought in her head. She just got air in there. You look at Gerard Butler in that shot, and also Mike Coulter too.
Yeah.
You can tell they're thinking. You may not be able to guess what they're thinking. Yeah, look at him there. Eye contact, you can read their minds. And what's awesome about that is that their minds are not filled with stuff like, well, I'm going to go and punch somebody, or I'm going to go and kick somebody in the face. No, they're thinking, how can we, in this situation, deal with it in an effective way? Because that's what Kung Fu fighting is all about. You don't want to be tough or badass. You want to be smart and effective. You want to...
Even with your weaponry.
Even with your weaponry. I mean, Gerard Butler, and again, look at, Mike is being the action star. Gerard, you see any wounds on Mike's face? You see the wounds on Gerard's face.
Right.
You see him looking and thinking about how to avoid this again. I don't want this again. And if you watch every single one of his movies, and I've seen every single one of them, he will not talk down to the audience. And also, just like the great Vincent Zhao in Kung Fu films, he refuses to dilute his action. When he fights the way he would fight, not the way the producer wants him to fight.
All right.
It's kind of a little like what's it? The wonderful the transporter. Why am I blanking on his name?
Jason Statham.
Statham also won't denigrate. He fights the way he would fight in real life.
Right.
So Plane is well worthwhile, I think, but it is not a movie to go see. It is a movie to let come to you.
Okay.
It's not. It's a movie, but it's
wait till like video on demand.
B for Butler. B for
B for Butler. There you go. Nice. All right, you got me excited to watch it. Nice. Good. Good. That's a good. Sounds like a good time.
Just watch him in
Yeah.
Gerard I
Yeah.
Trust.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He's great.
Yeah.
I was curious about this. We like mysteries,
Mhm.
especially Lady Phat.
Yeah.
How was the did they botch this? Was this
No,
intriguing? What
no. Within they didn't botch it. They did not.
Oh, okay.
They didn't botch it.
All right.
Yes. What happens is because I was feeling. I mean, looking at the poster, knowing the storyline, it's again very similar to another movie that's already been out. They had another movie with Edgar Allan Poe as the detective, and and here they have Edgar Allan Poe as a young man, with one of the guys from Harry Potter playing the young Edgar Allan Poe there on the right. But it starts from the very first shot, and even from the poster, and even from that shot, you know it's going to be a pretentious movie.
Hmm.
It's Scott Cooper, and Scott Cooper wrote it and directed it, and it's affiliated with Christian Bale, wonderful actor, and you can see that they're just having a wonderful time with this. They're putting everything they can into every single shot. So I was really enjoying
Nice.
it because every single shot was really interesting. But
Nice.
also every single shot was interesting because of how he acted, how he worked with the director, look at the lighting in that shot, look at the colors, look at everything. Everything in this movie is interesting. And I was going,
Nice.
all right, well, let's see if that carries through to the rest of the film. And it does. I've read virtually every classic mystery ever written. I've read thousands of mystery novels. I know all about this. And something happens in this movie that surprised me.
Wow. That's
And
pretty impressive.
I should have. And also just like, see if Lady Phat likes mysteries, definitely Poker Face and definitely this, and they're a great comparison
Okay.
because
Nice.
they're doing stuff I didn't think anybody could do anymore because every mystery plot has been taken.
Copy that. And is that Robert Duvall on the left?
That is Robert Duvall on the
Oh my goodness.
it
Wow.
it really is I would call this the movie. If they were going to put one word on a poster from me, it would be meaty.
Meaty. There
Meaty.
you go.
This is a
Nice.
meaty movie.
It's a meaty mystery.
Meaty, not like the menu. Meaty.
Right.
It's a big old delicious hunk of steak.
The menu left you starved.
Well, you let me mad.
It made you mad.
Let me angry.
All right. So thumbs
Anorexic.
up for the anorexic. Thumbs up for the pale. That's right.
The pale blue eye.
The pale blue eye.
And
All
one of
right.
the-
Now,
Robert Duvall. Yeah.
next up here, I've been wanting to see this badly because I'm an Ultraman fan. I'm not an Ultraman expert, but I'm a big fan of Ultraman. And I wanted to see this, and it just never came out over here for us to rent it or try to buy it. Hopefully, it'll come out on physical media this year.
It was supposed to come out in January. It's supposed
Okay.
to come out in February. I got to see
Okay.
it through other means.
Right. But Shin Ultraman.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Look at the ass on that guy.
Ultra ass.
Look at that ultra. Well, it's kind of ultra.
All right.
Did you see Shin Godzilla?
Yes, I have.
That's by the same people.
Right.
The same writer directors did, and because Shin Godzilla did so well, they gave them Shin Ultraman to do. Did you like
Right.
Shin Godzilla?
I did like it. I respect it, but I don't love it. Like, I'm not crazy about it. I'm not like, oh my god, Shin Godzilla's the greatest thing. I'm not like that. But I'm like, that was great. That was a good movie. I respect it. That's where it ends.
I think I'd be interested to see what your opinion when you finally get to see it, because I feel
Okay.
similarly. I am also not an expert on Ultraman, although I have seen dozens of episodes of the show.
Okay.
And I've sort of read the Wikipedia.
Right.
And Ultraman is their not redefinition of Ultraman. It was their redefinition on how to look at Ultraman.
Okay.
because every single episode of the show that I've seen, and I've said I've seen dozens,
Right.
they're all the same. Every single episode, like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, it's the same. It's the exact same plot. First thing, different monster. The rest
Monster
of
of the
the
week.
show is exactly the same. For years and years and years and years and years, they did that. So what the Shin series does is, or at least they certainly do it in Shin Ultraman, is give me a different way to look at it. And
Okay.
they do it through the other characters. Because one of the flaws of most of the modern Japanese kaiju movies that I've seen is that the rest of the characters find everything that's going on in the movie dull. They react
Right.
to huge buildings blowing up by going, "Oh, okay,
Nope.
well,
Another day.
we
Another day in Japan.
we should do something about that."
Right.
Here, there are so many layers of bureaucracy because they have the movie starts with a sort of a prequel establishing the world, which
Right.
is kaiju show up. They establish that kaiju only come to Japan. They only come to Japan. They don't go anywhere else in the world.
Okay.
And they explain it. They explain it because they start creating a mythology of why they're coming to Japan. And then they also show how, and also, it's also there's a certain touch of Ukraine in this too. Because here we are, the rest of the world. There's a
Yeah.
war in Ukraine. And all of us are going about our business
Right.
and saying that's happening in Ukraine. So all these kaiju are in Japan, and the rest of the world in the movie are all doing, well, you take care of it, Japan. We're not involved.
Interesting.
Yeah, but meanwhile, Japan does take care of it. And most of the movie is based around this organization that has been created
Hmm.
as part of the governmental bureaucracy to take care of kaiju. And the opening establishes how effective they are of changing up their approaches to each of these monsters. But then they get to a point where they all start going, uh-oh, we've got one here, the first monster that Ultraman takes on, first kaiju that he takes on. We're not sure how to handle this one. Ultraman shows up and he starts doing variations. And also, again, just like Pale Blue Eye and some of the other things we've been talking about, every shot is interesting. And also every shot is examinable. And I mean, sometimes the camera will go under one of the lead bureaucracy girl's desks. It'll be shooting up at her nose. And then the next shot will be something different. The next shot will be something different. And the next shot will be something different. And the way everybody reacts is different. And the way the bureaucracy works is, it's a very clever movie. The first half, I was just going, this is great. I love
All
this.
right.
But then something happens in the middle, which is understandable.
Okay.
If I was making it, I wouldn't have made the change in the middle of the movie that they make. But because they're Japanese and they grew up with Ultraman, they felt the need to give Ultraman an explanation that I didn't require. But then again, they've seen dozens, they've seen hundreds, if not episodes of Ultraman in the movies. And it's been going on for so many years and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the middle of the movie changes, and I understand why it takes that change.
Is it kind of like fan service?
No, no, not at all. It's
Oh.
their service. They're explaining
Okay.
something. They're explaining something to their audience. This is why this is. This is why
Okay.
Ultraman is, and they pull off a hat trick. They pull off a trick at the end that the menu wasn't able to do for me. At the end of Shin Ultraman, they explain something that I've a problem with Ultraman, with Doctor Who, and with any other alien who's on Earth. But yeah, basically, Megan is related to Ultron. Megan is the plot. Megan could think of Ultron as her daddy because she comes to the same conclusion that Ultron did in the Age of Ultron, the Avengers movie, which is humans suck. Humans deserve to die. Humans are going to destroy themselves. Why should we care? And it's the same thing with Doctor Who. Doctor Who, no, humans are great. And Ultraman is also, no, humans are great. So in the middle of the movie, something happens where the fate of humanity is called into question. And Ultraman puts his money where his mouth is. And at the very end, he does something. I mean, because Doctor Who has never, in the 60 years of Doctor Who has never convinced me that humans are worth his time. But Ultraman does. Ultraman does.
All right.
In a very smart and clever way. I still would have liked fighting in the last half. But the more, unlike Menu, the more I think about Shin Ultraman, the better it gets in my memory.
Nice. All right. Well, now you got me even more excited to watch it. Nice. Hopefully you get to release it over here on Blu-ray or 4K.
Eventually.
Oh, I'm not holding back on this next one. I'm not holding back. Rick?
Deservedly so.
Rick.
So. Yep.
You know, when I saw the trailer for this,
yeah,
I was like, yeah, let's go. This is right up my alley, right up Samurai Guy's alley, man.
Right.
I'm a big fan of the lead actor.
Xing
ever since first time I saw him was in Kung Fu Hustle. And
Ip-Man, Master C.
Yeah.
And even
Flashpoint. I mean,
he's good.
I'm still a fan of him.
Yeah.
But this movie, man. Like right in the beginning, right when the movie starts, I was like, I almost called you up, Rick, on the phone. I was like, Rick, is this a sequel? Like, did we miss the first part? Because he's just already here avenging his master. We don't even know who he is, and he's just beating up people we don't know. Yep. He's just going after villains that we have to assume are villains.
Yep.
And the most disappointing thing for me was this was the best fight for me in the whole movie.
That's right.
And I was like, "Oh, come on, man!"
What I believe has happened? I'm theorizing.
Okay.
Because, there's another Kowloon Walled City movie coming up, choreographed with Sammo Hung and all these great guys, and that's what I thought this was.
Yeah,
I thought they had finished it. We showed it. You showed a trailer, and I saw the trailer.
Yeah, walled in. Yeah,
walled in at the Kung Fu Extravaganza at San Diego Comic-Con.
It looks good. Yeah,
that's what I thought this was. So I started watching, and of course, I love Haya. So I'm watching it, and I didn't have the same reaction you did. I went, oh, somebody in the rest of China knew about Walled In. So they said, let's rush out a knockoff to denigrate it. Because, all these other, the dozens of other new Wong Fei Hong and Fong Sai-yu movies,
right?
Denigrate the character. So here, and you know how I knew that something like that had happened, because I thought the Menu was bad at satirizing itself. Did you watch Kowloon Walled City all the way through?
Unfortunately, I did. Yeah.
Did you see what they were doing in the last 15 minutes? They were mercilessly making fun of themselves. They kept on.
I was so bored
on the movie. They would make comments on the movie. They would, the other actors, because you could tell they just completely ran out of plot. They didn't know what to do next. So they started making fun of themselves. And they were just going, oh, you're a dumb guy. This is a dumb thing. What the hell is going on? And as such, I was just like going, amazing. Only these streaming movies that China is doing now, because they do so many.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kowloon Walled City was a fuster. Yeah, and I knew because the director of Kowloon Walled City is Chow Chen, and he's only done 3 movies.
Yeah.
This is one of them. The other one was called Lobster Cop.
Lobster Cop. Well, now I got to watch that.
Me too.
But yeah, this was just, it's like when you Yes. When you show him do what he does best, it's entertaining, but you barely seen it. Like he didn't really fight a lot in the movie.
No, they couldn't afford to. They didn't have time.
Yeah. And then the in finale fight, I was really hoping it would be extraordinary, and it was just too gimmicky.
Yeah,
And I was just like, man, you're ruining the fight. Stop it. But yeah,
they
we
didn't have.
love Hiya channel, but that's
They do the
oof.
best they can, and we're going to talk about another channel
No.
thing now.
This trailer, I have not seen the movie, Rick, but the trailer for this looked pretty good, man. I was like, oh, I gotta watch this.
I got in touch with Brennan Lane over at Welcome to the
Nice.
Estate, and I said
Shout out to Brendan.
there are two more movies in this series. It turns out to be a trilogy starring the great Louis Fan, who was had that greatest of all fights in Ip Man with Don.
Right.
And he did three of these movies. They're all from 2020, 2021, and that's the only
Nice.
story. I said find the other two. Because, of course, Taoist Master Kailan is my favorite kind of kung fu movie in that it is not about fighting. All this Taoist Master wants to do is find the source of Tao. That's what his purpose is. He spends the whole movie trying not to fight. So the movie, just to spoiler alert, and by the way, the movie is like, I think it's 75 minutes. So again, and it has one or two fights, but this fight, the fight
Yeah.
this is in the middle of the movie, and it is a work of art. It is a thing of beauty. It is very clearly an homage to the nature fights in Hero with Jet Li, as well as the fight that Louis Fan has with Donnie Yen in Ip Man 1. It's an homage to that, but at the same time, it is beautifully put together. And it is a
Nice.
showcase for Louis because his adversary is masked. They reveal who his adversary is, and of course, she wasn't behind the mask in the actual fight scene. He got probably one of his friends. Louis got one of his friends who knows what they're doing, and they do this beautiful fight scene. I mean, the first fight scene in Kowloon Walled City was okay, but this fight scene is just beautiful. I've watched it over and over and over again.
Nice.
One of my best of the year.
All right. All right.
And the movie is good too. It has science fiction aspects to it. It has fantasy aspects to it. But if you can accept that, it's a really good Taoist master movie.
Nice.
With a
Nice.
brilliant kung fu fight in the middle.
Yeah, that was probably some of the footage I was watching for the trailer. So,
Yep. Oh, absolutely.
but so only on Hiya channel. So y'all know what you need to do. That's right. Go check it out on Hiya. Now, this last one, people have been messaging me, Rick. That's right. They've been sending Samurai Guy messages. They want me and Lady Phat to review this because they loved it so much. And I know Frank briefly given an honorable mention last year, but Puss in Boots, The Last Wish.
Puss in Boots is excellent. I would, if I had seen it, I made my list before I had seen it.
Right.
I've seen it. It's exceptional. It is a wonderful movie with awesome action. Exceptional is the word for it. I mean, I knew I was in good shape when by the end of the opening credit, I was choked up.
Wow. Wow.
Because the opening credit, they established, because DreamWorks has been bought by Universal.
Mm-hmm.
And the original minds behind DreamWorks are no longer there, but they have the rights for Shrek. They have the rights for How to Train Your Dragon. They have the rights for Kung Fu Panda. And the opening sequence of Puss in Boots segues into the DreamWorks logo, the animated DreamWorks logo of the little kid on the crescent moon fishing.
Yeah.
But in order to get to the moon, he has to pass all the other famous characters from the DreamWorks canon. And one of the last people he passes is Po the panda. And as the fisherman passes him, Po does this.
Wow.
I went, you got that right. I mean, not even Kung Fu Panda 2 got that right. So, And so I knew I was in good shape. And then the rest of the movie is just exceptional. It's delightful. It is wonderful. It is exceptional. And yes, you and Lady Phat. It's also warm and sweet and loving and again, really great. And amazing voice cast. And the animation changes. The animation changes during the action looks different from scene to scene. Extremely smart. The guys who did it, they had worked in the Kung Fu Panda art department and the story department, and they had worked on the Ninjago, the Lego Ninjago movies, and the Croods. The main guys, the director and the writer, also did the Croods, but this is a huge jump up. This is a huge jump up.
All right. Nice. And this is the final. They're not going to do a fourth one, or?
Well, the end of the movie gives us hope.
Okay.
They say they're going to have more adventures. And the last shot, again, was exciting. It's like, geez, I hope so.
Nice. All right. All right. You've twisted my arm, Rick. I'm gonna have to check it out for sure.
Plain, Puss in Boots, Shin Ultraman, Pale Blue Eye,
yes,
and a Poker Face. You and Lady Phat got a lot to watch.
We got a lot of catching up to do there. Well, this was awesome, my brother. It's always awesome having you here on the Movie Dojo, hanging out with the Phat Samurai Guy. You guys are awesome. Hey, you guys know what you need to do now. You know what you need to do. That's right. If you guys are new here, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that you are in the know when new videos do drop. Also, don't forget to check us out on all of the social medias. We are everywhere. That's right. And don't forget to check out the store. Buy a mug, buy a shirt. Help keep the channel going. And hey, we got the author and Hall of Famer here. So we gonna show the books. That's right, baby. Films of Fury. Thrilling adventure stories, and they shouldn't have killed his damn dog.
I didn't write that book, but I'm throughout it. I'm in it, commenting the way I comment here. And I have to say, I finished my latest project, which is 111,000 words, but it's not going to be out until 2024. So yeah, if you want any, and of course you can look at my story company page on Facebook, see everything I've written and been involved with. And if you have any questions for me, you can always find me on my email.
That's right. In the description box below is a link to where you can check out all of Rick's books and to follow Rick. That's right. You know what, Rick? I figured it out. You know what the menu needed for you to like it? More drone shots.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's my thing. No, my buddy, my brother from another mother, Frank. He's in love with drones.
I love you, Frank.
I'm in love with thoughts.
Thoughts. So you guys know what you need to do.
Get the book! Get the book! Get the book!
Right, baby. Get the book. Hey, thanks again for hanging out with us. And we see you guys on the next one. Keep watching movies. And then Rick says, keep watching good movies.
Watch all the movies, but know a good one from a bad one.
That's right. And now we have to hunt down Lobster Cop, Rick.
No, we don't. The title tells me everything I need to know about lobster.
I'll do it. I'll take the hit. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.